Hey guys, welcome back to Dark Luna Tarot. Today's deck walkthrough is going to be the Tarot of Curious Creatures by Chrysan. If you guys have watched any of my other videos, especially the ones where I look at Chrysan decks, you know I absolutely love them. One of my earlier decks that I had gotten was gifted to me by a friend. It was the Light Seers Tarot, and I absolutely adore that deck. That deck is literally my daily driver deck, and I use it most frequently in my readings. So I was definitely pumped when she told me that Chrysan came out with another deck, and she was like, this is next on my list. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick this up because I love all of Chrysan's decks too. And I was like, let's do this. So it is a 78 plus 1 card deck and guidebook, so 79 card deck. um, the curious creatures, with their illuminating conversations and grounded wisdom, the curious and quirky characters in the 78 plus 1 card deck and guidebook are a strangely familiar twist on the traditional tarot. Journey with these friendly creatures to the center of your truth and allow them to guide you toward the unfolding of your intuitive knowing. So go ahead and pop this open. And oh, it's got a QR code in the box that says come play. So I'm curious to see what that holds. In true Chrysan fashion, standard deck guidebook. Not, it doesn't have pictures of the cards, but I do like that it has a heads or tails. So I'm assuming heads is going to be your upright, tails is going to be your upside down, reversed cards. And then it's got an interpretation as long as a dog conversation. So, oh, there's guidance for each animal apparently. So there's conversations with whatever animal is on the card. I'm gonna go ahead and peel this off of here. So taking a look, the binding kind of scuffed my card up, but that's okay. So in true Chrysan fashion, this deck does have the traditional sun rays and the diamond here. It does have a little bit of different imagery. We've got some cats, we've got some bird feathers, things like that, and some peacock feathers. So I'm excited to see what this deck holds. So already, just looking at this Fool card, it's giving me vibes like the Muse Tarot, where it's more contemporary art. Is that the word for it? I don't know. There's a lot of realism here, but there's also, you've got different animals in here, and I really should have known better. So, many of us readers have spirit guides and things, and mine is generally associated with crows. So, of course, the High Priestess card is a freaking crow. So, that does not surprise me at all. It probably explains partially why I walked into the store, I saw the deck, and was like, oh my god, I have to have it. There's always something. There's always a reason behind it. Not just because, ooh, pretty deck. Each deck speaks to me in a different way. And I use different decks for different readings because they each have a different story to tell and they have a different message to deliver to whoever the audience is. I do think it's interesting that Chrysan took human bodies and put animals on them. So that's kind of an interesting twist. I would love to hear a little background on that. So hopefully I can find some more info on that later. But the colors are very bright. The animals do seem to kind of correlate to each of the cards. Like, we've got a turkey vulture or vulture here with the death card, like, pretty obvious. We do have some standard imagery. This one doesn't really resonate with me for the tower card, honestly. I mean, I see the little guy at the bottom who's like falling down, but like there's not really a traditional tower. The Fool 2.0. So I'm not sure if this is the +1 card. But I do find it interesting. So far, what I've seen, so we've got the Fool, and then we've got the Fool 2.0. The Fool card is actually the only card I've seen so far that does not have an animal body on it. Or, I mean, a human body with an animal head. So I find it intriguing that there's the Fool 2.0 where it does have the human body with the dog head, and it's the same dog head that is on the traditional Fool card, as well as you've got the feather on the rock. And a lot of the greenery around the card looks similar to um, the other card. So I might have to dig into that in the book a little bit and see if that's our bonus card or if that's the world. Um, or did I miss the world completely? No, the world's in there. So yeah, the Fool 2.0 is our +1 card. So we've got the Ace of Wands. So we're moving into our wands. Still continuing our theme of the human bodies with the animal heads. I'm just not sure I'm sold on it. The Curious Creatures makes me feel very like circus, like freak show. So I think this would be a fun deck to play with. It's got a ton of imagery and a lot of colors, and I'm sure if I spend more time looking at it, I'll definitely pick up a lot more vibes from it. I do like that we did, well, I thought we were going to have all like water themed animals with the cups, but the Four of Cups is a lie. It's a bunny. But we do have what seems to be more animals associated with water. Dog, not necessarily. I do like that the dog has a lot of choices up here. Into our swords cards. I feel like this Ten of Swords is the first insect we've seen. It looks like it's a bumblebee. So I do like that with the Curious Creatures, it kind of mixes the traditional tarot with the idea of like spirit guides, possibly with the animals. So that's definitely vibing with me. Moving into our pentacles. Alright, let me see if we can get this a good shuffle and just kind of get an intuitive message for the collective. I always love doing readings with new decks just to see what kind of message they have to share. I do get a lot of decks that share very positive messages. I have had a few that share some negativity, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because there is that balance of light or dark in the world, and that is something that we all have to learn to balance. We have to accept the good news with the bad news. I don't know if it's just because the cards aren't broken in yet. They do feel a little rough along the edges, or almost like they're kind of splitting. I think they'll break in though, because if I remember right, when I had my Light Seers deck when I first got it, I think it felt the same. But the card stock material for this deck is actually quite similar to both the Muse Tarot and the Light Seers Tarot. At least it feels similar. Alright, so we're going to clear our energy from our deck and see what message it has in store for us. So we've got two major arcana cards. We've got the Moon, we've got Justice, and we've got the Ten of Pentacles. The Moon is generally about illusions. I'm going to see if there's any other hidden meanings with this deck, since sometimes deck creators do put some different meanings in. So this deck in particular is saying illusions, not being able to see your path clearly, facing your fears, the unconscious mind and trusting your intuition. We're going to move into the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles is generally about abundance, community, material wealth, leaving a legacy, timing, harvesting, and comforts. Already this message is starting to resonate with me personally, but let's see what Justice has to say, and then we'll kind of connect the dots and go from there. So the Justice card is talking about ethics, morality, fairness, proper action, balance and adjustments, truth, legal matters, positive outcomes, and accountability. So when we pair in our illusions and all of our goodness, I lost my train of thought there. Not being able to see our path. I feel like that comes in with the Justice card and balance, and that we want to see our path, we want to see it clearly, but also if we're not balanced, if we're out of balance, we're not going to see that path. We're not going to see where we need to go or where we want to go. It's just going to kind of feel like we're in this stuck energy, the stale energy, where we are not seeing any movement, and that's very frustrating. But the big thing is trusting your intuition with this Moon card. So with trusting your intuition, you're gonna know, and like I can feel it already. I know what I need to do to be able to get to where I want to be. I just don't know the correct path there. So the Moon is definitely telling me I need to follow my intuition. Whatever choice I'm going to make is going to be the right choice. That's what this Ten of Pentacles is telling me. There's going to be abundance, whether you're looking at something that is like financial security, or you're looking at buying a home, or you're looking at changing jobs, things like that. Whatever you set your sights on and you follow your intuition, and whatever your intuition says is like, hey, it's time to move on, or hey, maybe this place isn't quite right for me, or maybe this place is a great place and this is where I want to be for a long term. Whatever you decide, even this could go with like relationships too, and like follow your intuition, and maybe it might seem like you're stale and you're stuck because you guys are out of balance. So releasing that could bring you into that abundance of the Ten of Pentacles, but also following that intuition, you might not even have the fears with that. You might be in a steady, solid relationship. You guys might be in balance, and so what that means is you guys are going to have a successful relationship. So there's definitely a lot of ways to interpret this card, so definitely pull in what resonates with you and just leave what doesn't. But these three cards definitely are hitting the nail on the head for me personally. Just with following my intuition and knowing that whatever choice I make is going to be abundant and is going to be good, and that I do need to focus on balance. I'm a very unbalanced person. I'm an all or nothing. I'm all in or I'm all out, or and there's no in between. So it's time for me to set boundaries and get more balanced. So lots of vibes with this deck. Instantly I am connecting with it, which is no surprise because that's how it is with all the other Chrysan decks. But I'm super pumped for this. And I can't wait to do more readings with it. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. And again, this was the Tarot of Curious Creatures by Chrysan. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.